You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Hey guys, this is Jim Chester coming to you today from Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley on the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say where no one lives, and I moved here so I could hear the birds chirp. And Kelly Lally, you are DC now, and you went through the Palmer program. You played rugby for Palmer, and where are you?
I am in Oswego, Illinois right now, which is about an hour west of the city.
Okay, so you're in Chicago land.
Chicago, way far land. So like the last suburb that you can get to before there's cornfields. That's where I'm at.
Is that before Aurora?
It's actually after Aurora.
Okay.
But I love it. I love it.
Okay, so this episode is brought to us today by Palmer Rugby. And You guys can see I have the Palmer shield on my shirt today. Thank you, Matt Walker, for sending me this awesome shirt. He sent me out like 3 of them, so I get to like wear Palmer pride all the time on these interviews.
I love it.
But let's talk more about you, Kelly. Why did you pick chiropractic, or did chiropractic pick you?
Chiropractic picked me. My first career was a teacher. So I taught for a couple of years in the elementary school level, which anybody who knows me is like dying laughing right now that I was an elementary school teacher. And I needed a career change. And so I started working for a chiropractic company in the area. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to apply for PT schools, the whole gamut when you're not familiar with chiropractic. And then,
the typical path.
The typical path. And then like 1 month into it, I was sitting at Pepe's Mexican restaurant eating tacos and with my boss, and he's like, why not chiropractic? And I was like, why not? Yeah, that's great. So I went home that night and I applied to Palmer, and 2 months later I was sitting in classes. So
pretty cool. So I know that part probably rings true for a lot of people. So many times people don't know why chiropractic is in their life or why they chose chiropractic. I know it's like chiropractic picked me type thing. But why Palmer? Was Palmer like the center of the chiropractic universe to you, or did you know anything else about other chiropractic schools?
No, I didn't really know anything about the chiropractic schools. I knew Palmer because the doc I was working for was a Palmer grad. But I had actually went into like a training where there was a bunch of docs there. And I asked every single one of them, if you had to do chiropractic school over again, what school would you choose? And every single one said they would choose Palmer. And that was Palmer docs. That was docs from the Chicago area. That was, from all different schools. And they all said if they had to do it over again, they would choose Palmer. So I was like, well, there you go. Palmer it is.
Well, that's a good interview question, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
And then you got into Palmer, and then you started with the rugby team. Did you know anything about rugby before you came to Palmer?
No, I've seen it maybe once or twice, and it looked like foreign football. I had no idea what it was. And actually, one of the girls was like, hey, you'd make a great prop. And, obviously she a little later playing into it, I was like, oh, she just called me fat. But, I rolled with it, and I ended up turning into being an okay prop. So but that comment there changed my life really forever. So thank you to that chick.
Well, that's a similar story to Dale Smith. Dale Smith, he was somewhere, and somebody told him he looked like a prop, and now you see what happened to Dale Smith's career.
Oh, yeah. That's good people.
Yeah. The Smith family. They are actually, we're bringing Steven back from Colorado Springs to the symposium, so he's going to be driving back with Luke and myself back to
awesome.
To see the rugby family. So at this point in the interview, let's talk a little bit about what Palmer and rugby did for you in your career where you are today.
Well, Palmer and really has changed my life. being a part of the rugby team has been a game changer for me. You know, when I first started school, I was kind of struggling a little bit. And once I started playing rugby, it gave me the discipline that I needed. It gave me that sisterhood of, you know, people that I could rely on, you know, when I needed help or if I needed anything. There's a bond when you play rugby that is just unlike anything else. You know, you can be friends with your classmates, but the bond I have with my rugby sisters and brothers, you know, when you're actually physically out there on the field, like fighting and clawing, it's done everything for me. And it's given me this crazy work ethic and the ability to know that no matter what, like I have a family that backs me up with my rugby family. And, you know, I can take on anything. So I love it.
That's really cool. Yeah. I've learned a lot about self-discovery too, by understanding like the time and commitment and the grit that all the rugby family has, you know, because you guys put in extra hours. It's not just going through like a graduate, like doctorate program. It's like going through a graduate doctorate program and being like a professional athlete at the same time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, but it's fun.
So now that you've gone through the time with Palmer Rugby, how are you helping the program? And I know that there's some ideas out there that we talk a lot about with Palmer Rugby and the Palmer family of giving back time, talent, and treasure. How are you giving back to the program, and what are you seeing happen because of that?
So I give a little bit of my treasure. Obviously, I've only been out for a couple of years, so the treasure is building, and as my treasure builds, my treasure that I give away to Palmer builds as well. You know, that working for $1.27 when you get out of school, you know, that's so slowly building, giving back my treasure. But the main thing is, you know, is giving your time. You know, giving back to the students. I try to go up and meet with the girls as often as I can. I make it known like you can reach me anytime via Facebook, email. You can call me. You know, being able to be a mentor, you know, help them out with whatever they might need. And then, you know, every once in a while go adjust them, give my talent. And, you know, I actually just spoke at Spiz Night on last Friday.
That's cool.
So giving a big shout out to the rugby team. So yeah, I mean, it's changed my life. Rugby's changed my life. So I want to do whatever I can to give back because it's given so much to me. That, you know, every little bit that I can give back, even if it's not my treasure right now, just giving my time is, you know, anybody can give.
Well, Spiz Night is a good way of, like I like to say, it's direct sales, it's word of mouth advertising. It's like it's going in, and you know that the symposium's coming, so you can go in there and kind of rally the troops and say, hey, you guys should be there April 13th and 14th for the symposium. And it's a good way to put, like we say with the military, boots on the ground, and go in there and to actually like rally the troops and say, hey, I better see you guys over there, which I think is really cool. So at this point, let's talk about how from 2012, what we were talking about off camera, till 2018, where we are today. How has the program developed, and where are we at today with the scholarships, and what were you at back then, and what happened like in the whole process?
So I started playing in 2009, and you know, that was back in the golden ages of where it was a work study. You know, we made $750 a trimester, and you know, there was no scholarships available. And we actually went to the playoffs in 2010 and 2011, but really nobody knew because, you know, at the time we were all kind of trying to figure out how women and the men would fit together to make one awesome unit, which we are now. But 2012 was really the turning point. It was our first year of getting scholarships. We had 5 scholarships at that time that we split between like 10 to 15 people. And then, you know, 2012 was really that time where the men were able to actually see what they were investing in live and on the field. And, you know, they got to see that we were not just out there just looking pretty, which, you know, obviously we all do, but we were out there and we were running fast, we were hitting hard, we were running plays. You know, we were real rugby players out there, and that really changed. You know, the Smiths have been great. They welcome us into their home every year. Dr. Schofield, he was the ones that donated us our first jerseys that were fitted because they had seen that we were getting jersey tackled and just like losing out on ground because the jerseys were so big. So Dr. Schofield donated us first fitting jerseys. And then, John Callis, he was always out there, showing us how to do things better and more consistent. So, from there it's just a turning point, and it's night and day. We have 10 scholarships now. We're able to field a team full of Palmer rugby players, which before we were a mixed bag between Palmer, Iowa City, and the Quad City areas. It was just kind of this like hodgepodge of, female athletes that threw the ball around and hit people hard. So it's really awesome to see just how, the men have really come to support us. And, now as we're starting to get out of school and, become more of an alumni base, we're starting to slowly become more and more of a force as well, giving back, which is important.
So I know earlier you were saying how Palmer took like student athletes and developed them into rugby players. How do you see, are you guys getting more high caliber, like actually rugby players that are joining on to the women's rugby team now because of the scholarship opportunities?
Yeah, it's really great to see. Our first actual rugby player that we had on the team was Liz Kelly, which her dad, Tom, is a rugby alum. And, she was our first. We were all excited. We're like, oh, my God, she knows what she's doing. We don't have to teach her. Now I think there's like 5 or 6 girls that have experience that played in college. Tabitha is doing a phenomenal job of going out and recruiting and getting at rugby athletes that are coming in. And, the great thing about what we're doing at Palmer is we're one of the very few schools that's allowing this opportunity for women. And we see that when we allow women to be a part of the picture, it only amplifies what we're doing and makes it even that much better.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Yeah, and here's a really cool thing that maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but 50% of all students in chiropractic schools right now are leveled out man and woman. So that's right awesome. Now, the woman's growth in the chiropractic industry is growing like never before. Yeah. So I think that it's a perfect timing for Palmer to do something really special with women's rugby to get more high caliber athletes into the program to produce high caliber chiropractors in the future. And I know that that's something that you probably, feel very proud of, is being able to be a part of that early stage of that family to now you can actually develop those relationships and those friendships with the future chiropractor.
Oh, absolutely. And you never know how far like one little gesture goes, right? Like Dr. Tracy in 2003, she just wanted to play rugby, and her having the fortitude to like get a team together has changed so many women's lives and, changed Palmer rugby too. So, I think just being able to do a little bit makes a big difference along the way.
And I honestly think that the footprint of the women chiropractor is going to be something very special going forward. So with us, with Chiro Hustle, we devoted the first 4 months of this year to the women's voice in chiropractic, because I knew that it was an underserved group of people that definitely needed to be heard more. And they needed to be, supported with a greater, self-esteem. And I think that that's one of the things about chiropractic is, even though you guys go to school for 7 years and you become doctors, there's still that self-esteem thing. Yeah. And there's always that like, we have to defend ourselves, or there's this uncertainty in who we are, the identity thing. Even though you know who you are, you're a chiropractor, there's still like the eyes all looking at you like, who is that person? What are they doing? And then, and then have you ever seen that like meme before? Like, this is what I do. This is what my friends think I do. This is what Papa thinks I do. Like, that's perfect for chiropractic. Like, what does a chiropractor really do? And that's why we're attacking the way we are right now with the chiropractic message, because people need to know about innate intelligence.
Absolutely.
Back, when we were off camera, I was like, I didn't even know really how to talk chiropractic until I went through my internship job with Matt Walker. And it took me like 3 years in the salt mines to be able to figure out how to speak chiropractic properly.
The literal Chiro hustle.
Yes, yeah, we were definitely in the salt mines, digging for the future of chiropractic back 8 years ago, and now we can eloquently speak about innate intelligence, subluxation, and we can talk about the worldview of chiropractic and why it's important to have everybody checked and adjusted if necessary. And I think the more that we can talk on those terms, we become better public speakers like you at Spiz Night. We become better speakers like me when I go to EPOC in Michigan and EPOC in St. Louis, and I hit the stage at Chiro Sushi, and I'm able to do more interviews than anybody else on planet Earth on the chiropractic philosophy, science, and art. And one of those aspects is the Palmer Rugby family that allowed me to have this voice. And without Palmer Rugby and the Palmer family, I don't have this voice I have today. So I give back with my time. And that's something that we're doing with these interviews, is giving back with my time and my talent. And eventually, once we become that media company that supports the chiropractic message, I will definitely support Palmer Rugby as well. So time, talent, and treasure, it goes full circle. Once we support each other, we all get better. We all get more certainty. The self-esteem goes up. The certainty in the communities goes up. And then we have a greater voice for the chiropractic word. And I think that, looking at it, Kelly, it's chiropractic. It's done by hand. The body needs nothing extra in it, just simply no interference. And the chiropractor is the one to deliver that adjustment to remove the interference.
Absolutely. I have a saying that in my office that, you lead with your heart, you use your head, you let your hands do the work, and don't be a jerk. And that's really the way to make it work,
And what did we say earlier? Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
and chiropractors, when early on, I think that they really felt like when they finished school that they jumped on a big island by themselves. They had to figure out how to do everything. They had to figure out how to do the billing. They had to figure out how to do the day one, day two. They had to figure out how to hang a sign, but chiropractors, I think, are the future in healthcare. And I think that you being in that society, we do need to figure out how to communicate it better. And the chiropractor can heal everyone and allow the body to heal naturally, but we have to figure out how to communicate it to make it consumer grade.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this big event. I know that everybody on this feed is probably really interested in this Palmer Rugby Alumni Symposium that you don't have to be a rugger to go to, and you don't have to be from Palmer to go to. But it's April 13th and 14th back at the Fountainhead, Davenport, Iowa. There's going to be a ton of support around it. I think last year, how many people came?
Gosh, there was a couple, I want to say 150. And that's to fill up the whole auditorium there.
The numbers are growing. The numbers are growing. And
every year's got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear back what they were saying. Fred Schofield used to be the only speaker. Yeah. And he would speak for 8 to 12 hours or something. Yeah. And now that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy going out 8 to 12 hours. And now you guys have a great group of speakers. You guys have homegrown talent speaking. Matt Hartenberg talking about heart rate variability. Yep. Let's talk about some of the people you're excited to see.
I'm really excited about Roberto Monaco. I've heard him speak a couple of times at CalJam, and he's awesome. He just blows my mind. Brad Galecki coming in, that's a great addition. And then obviously having some homegrown talent with Matt Hartenberg. I'm really curious to see, the research that he's done and, what he has to bring to the table. And then, our regulars that every year they bring us something different, bring us the fire, and really, really donate some good information to us. So that's awesome.
So I'm just going to throw a couple shout outs here to people that are watching. Jimmy Lopez says, Hola, Dr. Kelly. Keep rocking. Thank you, Jim. It's always nice to
Yeah,
recognize the people that recognize us.
yeah,
Marcy McKenna, she's a recent grad. She did not play rugby, but she is so devoted to the chiropractic message. She's done something I would recommend all of you to do is to get more social on social if you want to be able to be that person of recognition. Now she's a celebrity status in the chiropractic world, and she's just a very kind Iowa-born girl that took on to friending people on social media, and now everybody knows who Marcy McKenna is. So thank you for being on the live feed with us today, Marcy. We actually have an MD on. We have an MD on with us today, Dr. Adrian Laura. Your word for the day: support. So supporting each other helps make the team work, the dream work.
Yep. That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Kaylee Hickson says, "I'm literally sitting here reading about innate intelligence." Haha.
I love it.
And that's the cool thing is we can recognize the people that recognize us. Here we go. Dan Golden. He's a Palmer alum. He's actually with the Chiro Sushi family. The Samly we call it because we're samurais in there.
Perfect.
And he says the greatest movement in the in chiropractic is the women DCs. Love it.
Awesome.
And I think that's the truth is we speak the truth of chiropractic. And when you talk about how chiropractic is the change, I think it was like Buddha or like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yep.
And I think that's the chiropractor. And I think that being the change you want to see in the world is what chiropractors are and who they are and what they do. And the old saying is one spine at a time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what we bring to the table, right, is just so unique and so awesome. And we have a great sick care system, but we need healthcare. We need that, and what we do is so perfect and unique. And we need more people. We need to keep spreading the word and get more people interested in helping people be healthier. And by the way, this is water. This isn't pop. Just to let you know,
sparkling water.
It's a LaCroix.
And that's from Minnesota, I believe.
Yeah. I'm bougie over here.
So just to let you guys know that the Rugby Alumni Symposium is going to have, I think, 7 dynamic speakers, starting with Fred Schofield, Matt Hartenberg, homegrown talent. Actually, Freddie's homegrown talent. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And then we get into Roberto Monaco. We have Alan Sokoloff, who's the chiropractor for the Baltimore Ravens, that is going to be there. Brad Glowacki, who is a force in the chiropractic world, is going to be there. He's going to be, I don't know, is he going to be talking about concussions?
Yeah.
Okay. So
he's going to be talking about concussions. So that's going to be awesome.
We got
especially
Glowacki.
For rugby players.
Yeah. I mean, especially for any athlete,
yeah.
I played soccer for 22 years, and I can't tell you how many times I would hit the ball with my head. And now they don't even let kids hit the ball with their head. They're I think 12 and younger.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the world needs to be more informed on head injuries. And that's really important to talk about and to actually, educate the people that are actually the caregivers on what to look for and the protocols to follow. Yep. And then we have Deed Harrison, who is one of the most researched chiropractors on earth, who is the leader of the chiropractic biophysics program, and just tons of research coming out of their group. And I remember when chiropractic biophysics wasn't even in chiropractic schools.
Yeah. I mean, it's seriously, anytime you listen to that guy, it's like your head almost, you have to wear a hat because your head wants to explode because there's just so much great information just coming at you. So if you're not coming to the symposium, you're really missing out because there's just a ton of great speakers coming at an affordable price and going to a great cause. So I don't know what else you would want, but Davenport's the place to be. It's hopping.
It's the fountainhead. It's the first. Yeah. You're walking in the footsteps of greatness. And that's it's the same streets and the same path that BJ and Dee Dee walked, and Mabel. Yeah. And it's the same classrooms that the greats in this profession have gone through. And it's the same profession that you're a part of now. And, I just congratulate you for being who you are today and giving back the way you have and being a part of this greater chiropractic family.
Thank you. I love it.
well, is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
No, I think we covered it all.
Okay.
A woman, a few words.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the Chiro Hustle podcast. This live stream today was brought to you by Palmer Rugby, and couldn't be a better group of people to be a part of. And just realizing that the reason that Palmer or that chiropractic is where it is today around the world globally was because of David Palmer, and he started the rugby program back in 1960 to spread chiropractic through athletic excellence around the globe. So thank you, Kelly, for being on with me today, and thanks you for everybody that's been on. Let me see if there's anybody else that snuck in with a comment before I jump out. Dr. Nick Seacrest, my chiropractor out here, gives me a thumbs up, and Marcy says thanks for the shout out. And Kaylee Hickson is all about love with us. So the word of the day, support Palmer, support Palmer Rugby. And let's just, like Freddie would say, keep charging.
Keep charging. I like it.
All right. Let's see you, Kelly.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.